Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you some pointers and tips on file organization in Google Drive or Google Docs. But before I begin with that, I'd like to point out two things that I think are very helpful to know about. One is being correctly logged in to the correct Google account. So I'm going to try to show you what that is like, and it may or may not work. So as you can see here, I'm going to go into the teachmnet.org website. I'm going to log in as myself, Greg Nagy. And as I go into here, I have a tendency myself to always check at the top right and make sure I'm logged in correctly. Now if I go into, say, Google Docs and click that, I'm lucky in the sense that I've got a screen that kind of shows me that it's a little concerned, because what was supposed to happen when I clicked here from Google Docs is I'm supposed to get into my Google Docs or Google Drive now it's called, and at the top right it should say greg.nagy@knot.org. And this web browser, this happens to be Internet Explorer 10 I believe, the last time I was in with it, it was in on this login. So depending on the browser you use and the version of Windows you have, you might just automatically get thrown into a screen and you think you're logged in, but if you look at the top right, more than likely you'll see another Gmail account up there. It may still be your name, but it might be your personal or work one. So if that's the case, what you want to do is you want to sign out of that. So you would basically click on your name up here and log out or sign out. In this case, I don't want to continue, so I'm going to sign into another account. And what I like to do is then close this and then try it again. And yeah, unfortunately it's not working. So let me try that. Okay, so that did it. The problem with this is a little different for everyone. So at least you get to see kind of the general idea, but the important thing is, I logged in and there I am, greg.nagy@knot.org. Google keeps changing this, so keep an eye on it. Again, if this does not appear up there with the @knot.org on it, you just click on it and then you say sign out. They're doing all kinds of things now where you can sign into multiple accounts. It's not very consistent, I feel, so I would just suggest that you log out of this. And to be safe, you close the browser. It's easier if I don't do that now since I'm screen sharing. Go back in your browser, and then the next time that you click on this, it should go right into it. If not, you might see that screen where I was and I just clicked sign in to not. So that's a very important part that I see a lot of and I get a lot of questions about. So I think that's important to know. The second thing is in uploading. So if you want to upload a document into Google Drive, you click this icon, of course, and you can say Files, and you can pick a file. And this is what you hopefully will see, where you get an upload settings, where you want to either convert it or keep it the same. And why is that important? So if you have a Word document that you upload in here, if you convert it to Google Docs, the advantage is that anyone that you share it with in Google can edit it with you. So you can be editing at the same time, changing things. The minus I find with Word is if you upload it that way and convert it to Google, the conversion doesn't work so great in terms of formatting. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll upload my Word document, which is a DOC or DOCX, and tell it not to convert. So this would be unchecked. And it'll put it up there just as a Word doc. So people can see it, but they actually can't edit it in Google. You have to download it, edit it, and reload it or upload it. Now on the other hand, when I'm using spreadsheets, I do like to convert it into Google. So if I made a spreadsheet from Microsoft Excel, when I click to upload it here, I do want to say convert this, because if I don't, it'll stay as an Excel file, which is fine, but no one can click in it and edit the cells. They can view it, they can download it. So I find with Excel that it's good to have it convert to Google's spreadsheet format so that everyone can edit it and it's in there. Anyways, the reason I bring all that up is I think it's important to have that option and have this window come up. So for some people, they either don't get this window or maybe they check this box here and started their upload, and then they don't see this ever again. And so whatever you chose, if you want them converted and you say this, all of them will be converted. If you unclick this and you said this, then none of them will be converted. So I think it's important to still have this window. So how do you bring this window back if you've got rid of it or it doesn't come up? All right, so what I suggest to do is you go under the settings, and it's this gear or flower icon here, and you drop this down. And then over here you see where it says upload settings. And the same things that were in that menu are right here. I like to always have this checked in where it says confirm settings before each upload. That way when I do an upload and start it, I can choose if I want to convert it or not. So those are my two big tips in this video segment. Now I'll move on to some other things within Google File Organization. One of the biggest issues that I have is I have so many documents. You can see right here there's quite a few of them. And it's always hard for me to find things. Now if you don't have much in there, this isn't much of a problem. But as time goes on, there's more and more stuff. Really the best way is to use this search bar. If you happen to know anything about the title of the document or even anything in the document, if you knew there was a person's name like Greg Nagy, that's fairly uncommon, and I would happen to have that name in a document. If you search for my name, it'll show you all the documents, not only that have my name at the title, but they also have my name inside the document. So that's a great way of searching. The other thing I would suggest is if I click down here on this down arrow, you'll see that there are other options for searching. So you can kind of say opened by me or owned by me. That's can be helpful into bringing the search down. Another thing you can do is change the sorting. I think generally what you see is this. I think it's last modified, which is good if if you were in it recently, it's still back here at the top. But if you're looking for something older, I don't think that works great. So I personally like to have it more like Windows File Manager. So I like to change this to title, and if you do that, it'll stay this way the next time you come in it. So this is how I'm used to it in Windows. The folders are first by alphabetical order, and then after that the file names are next in alphabetical order. And then that way you can kind of look through and see if you can find things. Another thing to keep in mind is Google right now kind of separates things. So you have My Drive, which is basically files that you have created yourself, and then you have the Shared With Me, which are basically files that have been shared with you. And you can see even here, they're different. So these are all things that I have made or uploaded. I'm sorry. And then here are things that have been shared with me, and you can see that they're different. Now when you do the search, it searches both of them. But if you want to start looking through, I might start here and break it down. That way that'll get you down to a much lower subgroup, and then maybe if you sort it, you can help find it by doing that. So those are my tips for that. Another thing you can do, let me go back to My Drive, is if there happens to be a file that you would use quite a bit, you can click the star next to it, and it turns it into a yellow star, and that basically makes it like a favorite. So if you go under Starred here, you can see all the things that are important to me. So if there's, say, a dozen documents that you go to quite a bit, you can star them, and then as soon as you get in a drive, just click on Starred, and it'll be right there. So you never have to keep searching for it. You can also unclick it, and there it disappeared, so it's not a favorite anymore. There are also other things like recent. I was also told that if you click on this More button and drop this down, you can see that it says All Items. So sometimes people, when they go in the Shared With Me, there's nothing in there. They click this More button, then they click on All Items, and it seems to bring more stuff in, is what I've been told. So just another suggestion. So I'm going to go back to Shared With Me. You can always go back if you don't like, if you think something didn't look right. Another thing to keep in mind is if you go under folders, so say I go under what's a good one here? Say this MNet Conference 2013. We also have another folder under here, presentation plans, and you can see this is a breadcrumb trail that exists up here. That's helpful too, so if you want to back up, to the previous folder you can. The minus is, I've seen for some people you can go all the way home here, and for other people like myself, I don't have that. So what do? I like to always just click back on my drive and think of it as like going back to a home page, or shared with me. It's kind of the home page for both. Okay, another thing you can do is say you want to download or backup files. One way you can do it is if you click a checkbox next to the file name. In this case I have a folder, so that will get everything in the folder. I can do multiple checkboxes if I want. As soon as I do that, you'll see these icons appear up here. Boom, boom. And when that happens, you can also delete things from here or share with people. But if you click under this More, another thing you can do is say Download. And if you go through this, basically all you have to do is, I don't touch any of this, I just say Download. And what this does is it converts everything you checked into a zip file, and then when it's done, you're allowed to download that just like you download any file using your web browser. So you click on a link and it usually says save as or save. It depends on your browser. So here, this one I happen to get this, so I can say save file and then choose wherever I want to save it. And that way all these files are in a zip folder with today's date as a document export. And so you have a backup of them in case you can't get to Google or you're worried that something might change or maybe someone will delete it. That's a nice option that you have available to you. So I'm going to uncheck these. You can see there too, you can click on it again and go to More. You can also right click on any of these files and a menu will open up that's unique to this web page, and it's not a normal right click menu that you might see in your browser. You can also change colors if you think that's helpful for you to find things. Some people like that. I've just never gotten into that. Another thing you can look at is over here. You can switch to how you view things. So right now this is, I'm going to uncheck that. This is under List View, kind of what you're familiar with maybe in Windows. But if you go to Grid View, this is more like icons where it will show you what the first page or the picture looks like. And that might be more helpful for you when you're browsing too. And then when you want to go back, you can just click to the other one. So there's some more options that are helpful. Another thing they started doing now is under the settings again is you can change the display density. So if you do that, it kind of shrinks this screen. It depends on the browser, I find. This one you can easily tell. When you do these other ones, it doesn't look quite as a big change. I think this is an opportunity for them to change for touchscreen devices, so it spreads it more so it's easy for you to touch. I haven't read anything, but that'd be my guess. So that's something else that you can do if you think this is easier for you to look at or navigate. And finally, one last thing I want to point out is if you go under settings again, there is this keyboard shortcuts that'll pop up, and all this stuff has a keyboard shortcut very much like you might use in Word if you're familiar with using Control S to save. This will show you different things that you can do. For instance, Shift T makes a new document. You don't have to click on it. So that's another option open to you that most people don't know about. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully this showed you some new things. If I went too fast on something, feel free to go back in the video and replay that part. And I hope you learned something. Thank you very much. Goodbye.